Welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly, and on my channel I focus on food. Today is Friday, so this is a freeze-dry Friday edition. I do 3 videos a week. I have a Sunday drop where I do something garden or food preservation related. Tuesdays, I do a cook with me where I focus on quick, easy, nutritious, healthy meals that you can usually get onto the table from start to serve in under 30 minutes. And Fridays is all about freeze drying, and I am so excited about this. I know that this does not necessarily look like anything special, but this is roasted eggplant. So I showed on last Sunday's video how I roast the eggplant, and then I went and got a whole bunch more eggplant from the farmer's market to fill up a total of 4 trays, and I cannot wait until this is done. This is amazing. Not only is it loaded with nutrition and flavor, but it is so versatile. Honestly, my favorite way to enjoy this is to powder this down into a breadcrumb-like texture and use it as a bread replacement when I'm doing frying, like chicken sandwiches or fried zucchini, fried mushrooms, fried eggplant. I love it that way. But it's also a really good add into sauces, into stews, mixed in with meat like burgers or meatloaf. It is phenomenal in flavor and really imparts beautiful nutrition into just about anything you're gonna make. So I cannot wait to get this back on my shelf. I am 100% out at this point. So let's go over to the freeze dryer and let's get going. Freeze dryer is ready to go. It's been running for 20 minutes so far, so I can go ahead and load in my trays. Now eggplant, it has a lot of seeds in it. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lot of seeds in eggplant. Seeds are deceptively good at holding in moisture. So I am going to make sure that this runs for a full 24 hours in the extra dry cycle, and then do the weighted method during that dry cycle, just to be sure that we're not continuing to lose weight, which would mean we're still losing moisture. I think the seeds on here are probably a little bit easier to see. They're everywhere. So many seeds. With the trays loaded in, all I have to do is close the drain valve and then push continue on the machine. This is going to go into a freeze phase. That's not going to take too long because this is pre-frozen. Then it's going to go into a sublimate phase where it extracts all the moisture out of the food. Bypassing the liquid state, it's going to extract it in the form of gas, trap it against the inside drum, and then go into a dry cycle and then an extended dry cycle. So I'm not exactly sure how long this is going to take. This is a lot of eggplant. I've really loaded down these trays, but I will bring you back when we're there. We're at the 50-hour mark now. I'm going to go ahead and open the drain valve. And I'm going to get these packaged up. I did not get to do the weigh method on these because throughout that time period, I was working pretty steadily, and when it went into the extra dry cycle, it was in the middle of the night, and I worked from early morning until late tonight, so I didn't get to weigh these. I think they're done at 50 hours, but what I'm going to do is weigh the bags that I put these in, the Mylar bags, because those are going into storage, and I'll just make sure that they haven't changed weight when I go to use them. So let's get these to the kitchen and get them packaged. All right, these are really dry, really light. I think they're gonna be just fine, but like I said, the ones that I put into Mylar, I'm gonna weigh the bags and write the weight in grams on the bags, and then when I do pull them out of storage, I'll just weigh them again to make sure that they're not heavier, meaning that they had, they were still wet and absorbing moisture. So I'm just gonna get these out of the trays. My plan here is I'm going to leave one tray intact. I'm not going to powder that down, and I'm going to put it into a glass jar. And the reason for that is I want the option of using this in, say, breadcrumbs or something other than a fine powder. So I'll just use these and crunch them down, because you can do that pretty easily here, as needed. But the second tray that I have right here, I am going to powder down and put into another glass jar. And I know I've mentioned, but this is amazing as ravioli stuffing. You can't really use eggplant, pureed eggplant, roasted pureed eggplant in raviolis because of the high water content that it has, but it imparts such amazing flavor. And when you freeze dry it, you get to control the consistency. So if you're putting it in a ravioli with some cheeses, say, that cheese could rehydrate this because you're not going to be using a whole bunch of it in one, per ravioli. Also really good to use in meatloaf or burgers just to boost your nutrition, but also to impart some, depth of flavor, just for an elevated flavor profile. Really versatile. You can put this in your soups and in your stews, of course, casseroles. It's really, really delicious. So I'm really excited to have this back on my shelf because it's been gone for a while. I entered the summer with just the tiniest bit of powder left. So I'm really excited about this. And I'll probably not be able to get all of this in this one jar, so it'll go into Mylar. And I'll know if these jars, if the seeds are still wet, because they'll get soggy. And we might even see some condensation on the inside of the jar. So I'm not going to put an oxygen absorber in here with these because these will get used up within 6 months or so. I'm fine with that. And actually, I think I will powder these 2 trays down because we're going to get a lot more in a container once it's been powdered down. So to do that, I'm just going to put it in my Vitamix. And this will, the end result of this will be more like a flour. So I can still use that, and I can use both of these. I can use, if I'm going to be deep frying something, I can use the powdered down version as a flour replacement, and I can use a crushed version of this as a breadcrumb replacement. All right, let's see if I can run that through without having to tamp it down. Nope, I'm gonna need the tamper. And that's what this handy little tool is for. So I can just take the top off of this and I use this to push it down. And this is gonna powder down to pretty much nothing. So I might actually only get 1 or maybe none into Mylar, we'll see. Whew, a lot of fine powder there. I think 2 more trays of this can absolutely fit in here, so we're just going to keep going like this. I won't be needing my oxygen absorbers or my Mylar bags. If you're looking to make plant-based flours, you could do the same thing here with squash, summer squash, winter squash, beet powder. Powdered that down before. It's fun to add that into things like waffles or pancakes because it turns them pink. but it just imparts a tiny, tiny bit of sweetness without tasting like beets. So you can do this with more than just roasted eggplant. One more tray. All right, let's take a look at what we got. Well, we got a full ½ gallon of the pieces of roasted eggplant and almost a ½ gallon of the powdered down eggplant flour. You're gonna use this. You probably wouldn't want to rehydrate or reconstitute this. This would be, as I said, used as a flour. If you're gonna use this, the rehydration you're gonna wanna do is just add a little bit of water at a time until it gets back into that creamy consistency if you plan to eat it as an eggplant dish, as a side of roasted eggplant, which would be amazing. But you can also, like I said, use this in so many versatile ways. Just crunch it up, leave it a little bit big pieces, kind of like breadcrumbs, and you can use it in meatloaf, you can use it in pasta dishes, you can use it in burgers, and then just your cooking method and whatever other ingredients you're using would probably be enough to rehydrate this. But I am super excited to have these back on my shelf. Eggplants are an amazing food to have in your everyday diet. They are really, really heart healthy and especially healthy for your brain. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Freeze Dry Friday. My name is Kelly. You're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you come back and visit again soon.